Not the guys were here from Mincha before you got
on. I'm sure the mountains is packed now, Rachamim. No.
No, not yet.
No.
Yeah, it's raining today, so it was. It was a nice Shabbos, but it was raining, so all you guys.
Oh, yeah.
So I asked Bashal Shudas, which is worse, if a person is blackmailing another person who did such a or whatever it is, right? Is the blackmailer the guy who does blackmail? He says if you don't give me whatever, I'm gonna
squeal. The question was asked before the rabbi started, so we could kill time. Now that the rabbi
you'll ask me after.
Afterwards.
All right. Listen, we can't see you on the screen, whoever that is talking.
That's me, Rachamim.
I see you. But you're hiding now.
There's only one person with that attitude.
Rachamim, he's being nice. He's not sharing his food. He doesn't want us to see what he's eating.
Yeah.
He's getting the l'chaims ready.
Yeah. All right.
Anyways, okay, so let's start. Yeah, okay, let's start. Yeah, so I apologize. Boy B'yoim, right? On the top of Lamed Aleph Amud Aleph. It's a pretty easy daf tonight. So Boy B'yoim Darsha B'Yeshuv Ben Horkan Shalei Avad Iyov, right? So it was a machlokes in the Mishnah whether Iyov was Oived Hashem from love or from fear. So and the whole thing was based on a pasuk that said loy with a vav, loy with an aleph. Right? How do we say that the pasuk meant that even if Hashem, I'm paraphrasing obviously, that even if Hashem would kill me, Iyov says, even if Hashem would kill me, I would still go with him.
Didn't Iyov have ups and downs?
What?
Iyov have ups and downs?
Yeah, I will. Yeah, but whenever it is that he was Ivan,
Might probably be the other way. No.
It could be sometimes yes, sometimes no. But I guess it's asking overall. Was he Oived Hashem from Ava Yira? So the pasuk goes with a lamed with the question is how do you touch it? Lamed with a vav, which means loy to him that he was pro, or loy with an aleph that when he had a tzara he was not with Hashem. So Gemara says, why don't we just see how you spelled it? Just take out a nach and see how it was spelled. Now, by the way, there are shittas that hold that Iyov didn't even exist. That it's the whole story is fake. Baron, that's for you tonight, right? There is a shita.
That's not the shita of the Gemara.
Well, no, it's asking.
Otherwise, it wouldn't be in the Gemara.
No, meaning.
Well, no, Ben Sarmar is in the Chumash, right? And all of you guys say it didn't exist. I don't believe that. I believe it does exist, but
I don't know. Maybe within Iyov, it would be like what did he? How did they want us to believe the story?
It's mamish. That's the Chassidish joke. It's mamish. If you're saying it doesn't exist, it's mamish a great joke.
It's a joke.
What's a joke?
I don't know if it's a joke.
This Bach is going out with a girl first time. He doesn't have any sisters. He never spoke to a girl in his life. Only his mother. He has no idea what to say to a girl. So he asks his Chaverim Beis Medrash what he should say to her. So they say, food, family, and philosophy. Those are three subjects. Food, family, philosophy. So he keeps saying food, family, philosophy. So he says to her, how's your uncle? She said, I don't have any uncles. She said, so he said, Lu Yitzuya had an uncle. Would he have liked Kugel? So that's food, family, and philosophy. One shot.
There you go. So you're saying if Iyov is not true, so then this whole Gemara is
yes.
I don't think that's the popular mahalach that Iyov was made up. But okay. Anyway, so it goes let's see hi loy ibalamed aleph ksiv loy hu, right, which means I will not be. Ibalamed vav, which means him. Ibalamed vav ksiv loy hu, that I'm going to be to him, which should mean that Iyov was pro Hashem. So the Gemara answers the question with a question. Right? Again, to say, why don't you just open a nach and see if it's spelled with a vav or an aleph? So when it says does it mean no? Who says your assumption is that anytime it says loy lamed aleph, that means not, right? And when it says loy with a vav, it means him. Maybe it's not true. Maybe loy with an aleph can also mean to him. It says b'chol tzarasam loy tzar, with all the tzaras, right? This is Hashem talking about the Yidin's tzaras. So he says b'chol tzarasam loy tzar. So that's lamed aleph. Right, so does that mean the sibba lamed aleph? It's written with lamed aleph. Hachanami the loyhu. Does that mean no? How could that be? Right? It's basically Hashem saying with all klal Yisrael's tzaras loy tzar. I'm not in pain from it. I don't know. Tzar doesn't really mean pain. That's what ayin. But meaning he's not bothered by it. It can't be that. And if you're going to say maybe Hashem didn't have a problem. Umalach panav hashiyam. Right. So Malach from in front of him saved them. So basically, loy with an aleph can be mashma both ways. It can be mashma to him and it can be mashma no. So since it can be mashma both ways, there's no point in looking at a nach to see how it's spelled because there's not a proof to anything. Hence the machlokes of how do you darshan that lamed and that aleph. Fine. So Tani Rameir, Nemar Yorei Lekim be'Iyav. Right? It says by Iyav that he was a Yorei Lekim, but Nemar Yorei Lekim ba'Avram. And it says Hashem feared, Avram feared Hashem. Ma Yorei Lekim Amar ba'Avram me'Ava. We know that the Yiras Elikim from Avram Avinu was from Allah. So Af Yorei Lekim Amar be'Iyav me'Ava. So the Yorei Lekim from Iyav was also from love. So you see, according to Rameir, Iyav was from love. Avram Kufei Minol. How do you know by Avram Avinu that he was from love? Yosef Zera Avram Oihavi. The Zera Avram who loved me. So you see that the Zera Avram loved. So I hear Naftali's kasha, right? Saying who says it was always love? It's in a relationship. Right? Sometimes there's love-hate relationships. Sometimes there's love. Sometimes there's, I'm not going to say hate, not hate, but sometimes there's a yira. Sometimes there's ava. Right? Okay. My ika bain oisam me'ava loisam yira. What's the difference for somebody who's now we yotzar musar also. Right? What's the difference between somebody who's oisam me'ava to oisam me'yira? Right? Yeah. So I mean the whole question exactly what the Gemara means here. What do you mean oisam me'yira? It's pretty obvious.
When you say go
you quoting the next line in the Gemara because you don't have to memorize it. It's in the Gemara.
What do you mean?
Gadol ha'osem me'ava yosem min ha'osem me'yira. It's in the Gemara. Is that what my Brachman was trying to remember?
Yeah.
It's in the Gemara. The next line.
No, but okay. Let's see the whole Gemara. Let's see what it says. Ma'ika bein oisem me'ava oisem me'yira. Ika had the Tanya because he learned that the price of Shimon and Elazar. I'm a gadol ha'osem me'ava yosem min ha'osem me'yira. Somebody who does something me'ava is greater than yira. Shazet tali la'elav dar. You're going to get schusim. It's going to go for 1,000 years. Like Tali was the same thing by Saita. We use the same lashon by a Saita. A Saita has schusim, so she's not going to blow up. If she was guilty, she's not going to blow up right away. It's going to be Taila, right? So V'zeh Tali la'alfayim dar. This one is going to be Tali for parrots. You wanted to say a little. Oh, there we go. V'zeh Tali la'alfayim.
Can I ask something? How many years is one generation?
I don't know, 20?
So 2,000 generations is how many years?
2,000 generations.
5,000.
100.
How many years is the world in existence?
25 years per generation. It's either 25 or 75, depending on the context.
So you tell
me this, it's 25.
You're saying it's till the end of the world. That's what you're saying.
So I'm saying
it's 5,000 years.
Anyone who ever did this has chusim for the whole world. But for the entire existence of the world, because the world is only 5,000 years old.
No, the world's almost 6,000 years old.
Almost 6,000. Okay, so
yeah, but this was written. No, but this was written. This was written much later.
So everyone since then has had chusim forever. for generations forever, because they're saying if right.
Yeah, I don't know. Meaning the assumption is the world's keeping going. Maybe even after Mashiach, there has to be something, no?
Okay. I don't know.
What's such a difficult concept that a person has a chusim forever? What? Because you can't count that high. So big deal. The Baruch Shalom has no problem making such a cheshbon. So I got maybe I have the chusim from an alta Zaidi, or he has the chusim. So big deal. We can't count that.
Anyway. That the chuyus won't count for anything in Olam Haba. Once Mashiach comes and Olam Haba happens, then what's the chuyus doing? You can't really do anything after that.
I don't know.
This Gemara is mashma that it does, even after Mashiach comes in Olam Haba.
Right. No, I hear the both ways. It's good, but we also don't know what schusim means, and we don't know. There's a lot of things, right? Because let's say one dar is Oivin Me'ava, and the next dar is Oivin Me'ira. So now what happens to those 1,000 dairas in between, David? Do they go back to the previous dar, or do they get them saying, how does that work?
I certainly can't answer that.
We don't know what chusim is going to help our grandchildren or great-great-great-grandchildren.
No, that's true. But does that mean that you could rest on your laurels? Like, yeah, my grandfather, he was Oivin Hashem Me'ava, Givaldik. I'm going to sit back and do nothing now.
No, if you're following his ways.
Yes, that's true. That's so. Hachaksiv la'alfayim la'alofim lo'eva l'shomer mitzvah. V'hasam ksiv l'shomer mitzvah la'eldar. And the pasuk with a shomer mitzvahs is that's more from fear. So mamela that's 1,000. So Gemara asks Hasam nami ksiv lo'eva l'shomer mitzvah la'eldar. It also says that they're for 1,000 years, even by shomer mitzvah. So that's l'chayr somebody from year is 1,000. So the Gemara answers, highlight the smich leipa, highlight the samach. Each pasuk is going with what's next to it. So the one with 1,000 is going those with yira, and the one with 2,000 is going with ava. Taisus here, the last Taisus in the parah, Gadol Ha'isem Ava, brings the whole story, and it's only apropos Rabbi Kiva's death. He brings it to Yerushalmi, so that's why it's all in Aramaic. But the story with Rabbi Kiva's death, that Rabbi Kiva was smiling when the Romans were killing him. He was smiling. They said, "What are you smiling about? You don't care about tzaras?" He said, "I care about tzaras, but I always want to be mekayim b'chol nafshecha b'chol me'yadecha, b'chol levavecha b'chol nafshecha b'chol me'yadecha." Now I have the opportunity that I still love Hashem, even though you're raking me to death. Right? That's what Taisu says. That's what it called. That's what it is. So I mean, the truth is, if you have a good relationship with a Rebbe or even a spouse, right? With a Rebbe, there's a Ahava and there's a Yira. It's not a stira, right? There's no stira to it. There's Ava and there's Yira, right? Okay, fine. Hano Trey Talmidei.
Well, there's different kind of Yira. There's two Yiras Hashems. There's a Yira before Ava and there's a Yira after Ava.
Right.
That's the difference here in these psukim. The year before Av is La'alef Tayr, the year after Av is La'alpayim.
Okay, I mean, say you're breaking it down, but you can break down Avas and Yiras and both, right?
No, the year
Av is one thing. Yira, there's two different kinds of Yiras Hashem. There's a Yiras Hashem before you get to Avos Hashem, and there's a Yiras Hashem after, including Avos Hashem. The one before Avos Hashem is La'alef Torah. The one afterwards is La'alpayim.
I hear.
Yeah, but the year before Ava is year, and the year after Ava is you don't want to let him down.
Oh, okay. That's also a thing. Yeah. Okay, whatever it is, fine. Let's see. Hanu Trey Talmida. There were two Talmidim. Davayasvi Kamei the Rava. We have to see if Peretz gets the song of the Daf on this one. So Hanu Trey Talmida. Davayasvi Kamei the Rava. There were two Talmidim sitting in front of Rava. Chad Amalei. One of them said, "Akarian bechalmai." It was read to me in a dream How great is the good that you hid for those that fear you. And one told him, right? And those, anybody that who hide with you, meaning who are, I don't know how to type it, who are hidden with the Rebbeinu, meaning they're with the Rebbeinu Shalom, they will always be singing, and they're going to be, and those that love your name will also be very happy. So each one of them saw about Ava, and one of them saw about Yira. You're both tzaddikim gemurim, marme Yira. One was from love, and one was. So it sounds like from this story that neither one, it doesn't sound like one is getting more reward than the other. I'm not sure what the Gemara's point with this is. That there he said you're both. He says you're both tzaddikim gemurim. One is from Ahava and one is from Yira. I don't know. Okay.
Saying, don't judge by the reward. Don't judge by the zechuyas. Even though one's for 1,000, one's for 2,000. You're both tzaddikim gemurim.
Yeah. So that's okay. Parents, you didn't have the song?
See, like, why should I really care about all this? I mean, I believe Hashem loves me, so I don't. I have a good relationship with him. He loves me, I don't do everything that he wants. I don't do everything that he wants me to do, but he forgives me all the time because he loves me. We have a good relationship.
I still want things for my great-great-grandchildren, so I want to get to Yira still.
I want to get to making a l'chaim, so.
That's what, you're frozen, Yaakov?
He's frozen, so just say Hadron and make your l'chaim. You finish.
I can't say Hadron. I have to.
Listen, you got to be frozen. It was at least a nice shot.
I just got pulled out.
Now you're back.
Sorry, my somebody pulled out the internet.
I happen to be telling this. I didn't know what this is in the Gemara because I don't know more than 5 minutes before we say it. I was telling this to Shai a few days ago. I don't do it. The people who put on, if they put on the tefillin, they put their arms into the shirt and into the jacket, and they're all covered up, and they put the jacket on straight, and it's I just don't understand it. I don't have a tight on them. I mean, I know what, because the Rebbeinu Shalom, he wants, I put on his tefillin and I'm talking to him and he likes me. So he care if I look like I'm, to say, you would dress like you're going to a king. I'm going to way better than a king. Who cares? I don't care what King Charles thinks of me or what Biden thinks of me. The Rebbeinu Shalom loves me. So I go to him, I put on my tefillin. I'm going to him with my tefillin. I have to look like I'm going to a king, a king, the bus of the dumb.
Yeah, at least you have to keep the zipper up.
The bus of the dumb king don't love me.
Well, you can forget about getting an aliyah if you don't have that jacket on.
Well, I'm not saying not putting on a jacket, Rachim. We understand that. You haven't got kohen in 26 years. I understand that. We're not talking about
that. We're talking about what you're loving him, not him loving you.
Right.
Right, so I don't know how that's. I don't know. Peretz,
you didn't call it, man. You gotta call it. I'm waiting.
I did call it. The Perek. I'm waiting for you to figure out the song of the daf.
I did it. I have to.
Peretz didn't get it.
Oh,
you don't get it, Peretz?
No.
What's the song?
I'll sing it to you. It's old niggin. Peretz, come on, you have to know this niggin.
That's Mudgets.
Peretz, you sang this when you were
This is before he made the l'chaim.
All right. Anyways, Hadron Allah Kishem Shamayim. Now that you flunked it,
Here's my shiloh, Yaakov. Does my beer from Abdullah count as the l'chaim now?
No, you have to go on top of that, Peretz. You can't.
Right, so you have to make another bracha for the next l'chaim?
Put that in with Racham and Shaila about blackmail. We'll discuss it.
But it's 9% fear, so I don't know.
Who Parrots, just drop a shot in it and make a Boilermaker.
Who are you and what did you do with the real parrot?
What?
He's asking to give up on L'chaim. What happened?
It's funny. I made up. I had no wine in that. So I made up double on beer tonight. Also, my mom had no wine.
There you go. There you go. Anyways, okay, L'chaim. We'll hold off. Get parrots. Get your next L'chaim ready. All right. Hopefully, we'll finish the next parak tonight too. Okay. Except the next parak has a lot. A lot of it is the next mission. A lot of it is a repeat from Daf Gimel way back. But okay, so now Tosfos, by the way, points out that this parak is l'chora out of order. It's very interesting. If you look at the Tosfos, the first Tosfos, he says parak zeh hayahagoin sheyeshana yema'ur beparak rishon. The proper thing would have been to do is to put this in the first parak. La'achar oisabava de'elu asuras lechel b'truma. After the case of these are the ones that are also the truma. Ba'achar hayalishana's case at oisala b'chol seder. Right? Meaning, because this Mishnah now talks about how the guy knows that his wife is starting to hang out with the guy. How does he know? That l'chara should be way back in the beginning of the Sechta. Now we're already done. We already talked about her blowing up, when she blows up, how she blows up. The deal is done. Now you start talking about how did he hear about that his wife is talking to a stranger? So Tosfos says it really is out of order. Doesn't really answer it. Right? Okay, but anyway, so Zok the Mishnah. Misha kina le'ishtai v'nistra. So a man is jealous of his wife, and then she was saiser. Afilu shama me'oifa peireach. Even if a little birdie told him, right? That's where that comes from. Afilu shama me'oifa peireach, from a bird that's flying. That's how he found out. Yaitzi v'yitin ksuba. He has to divorce her and give her and the ksuba. Right? Divrei Rabbi Eliezer. That's what Rabbi Eliezer says. Right? Meaning, so obviously we're not talking about Eidim, because Eidim, it's Pashit. If there was Eidim, then it's Pashit. So we're not talking about whether there's Eidim. Right? We're talking about that's his strong rumors or whatever it is. Until the women that, we had this once before, the women who sit by the moon, meaning sit outside and hawk about her. Meaning if it's popular enough that everybody in town knows about it, then that's enough that they have to get divorced. Yeah, but meaning, so Rabbi Shua l'shitasa is being more strict, that you have to have, you can't just be a little birdie told you. It has to be much more than that.
I mean, if there's Lashon Hara all over town, that's what it is?
Yes, I don't understand. It's a good question. I don't understand how, if we're all supposed to be makban on Lashon Hara, how the rumors go. Elamai, it's for Tayelis. That's what you're going to have to say. It must be for Tayelis.
If it's Tayelis for the 7 conditions, if it's for Tayelis.
That's true. Yeah, it's true. You have to hit all the conditions, but maybe they did.
Yeah.
Or
okay.
The question is,
Chazal didn't ignore reality. The reality is these things happen. Lashon Hara happens. Just because it's not supposed to doesn't mean it doesn't.
So she has to get divorced?
You have a problem here. Based on Eidim, she has to drink. There's no Eidim here, but the whole town knows she was Saiser kingly. What are you supposed to do?
The whole town only knows because there's one guy with a big mouth.
So what? But Lamaisa, the whole town knows it. There was a stira here. So you should keep
her?
The
whole town knows because one guy opened up his mouth. So Mamela, she has to go out of her marriage.
See, he's a Rasha Gomer, but who cares? He's a Rasha.
What basis we don't know it
because we don't know it to be true. How do you know it to be true?
Yeah, on what basis does she have to divorce? On what basis?
Yeah, just because everybody knows doesn't mean that it's true.
No, but that's what he's saying. If it's so blatantly obvious, if it's so out there, then that's
just
enough.
Because people have big mouths doesn't mean that it's true.
No, that's he's saying. If it's enough that the ladies are all,
see, Yaakov,
it's all considered. Yeah.
In our town, it's probably 5 years ago already. Was it true or not true about that rabbi?
That was true.
Is it true or not true?
True.
And then there was another case of another rabbi. It wasn't true.
Something because they felt it wasn't true. I think
there are those that feel it wasn't true. Yes.
So,
right. So you're saying it's not you. I don't know if it has to be unanimous. Does it have to be unanimous?
I don't get it. On what basis? Forget about it. On what basis in halacha are we saying she has to be get? What's the halacha basis there?
Yeah, I don't even really like Yapcha Kugel. You're right. There's not. Yeah. There's nothing.
No, what's the halachic basis?
The halachic basis is combined with that there was already a kino there.
Give me the pasuk that tells you
the pasuk. I can't give you a pasuk. Give me the pasuk that is where you shecht an animal, Zev. There is no pasuk. Give me a pasuk where you put your tefillin. You know where it is? Between your eyes. All right. I'm saying that's not a raya. That's not a raya to anything. But what do you mean? Which part are you worried about?
On what basis does she have to give a divorce?
It's bechur. The way Rashi says it.
Because people are talking. If we did everything because people are talking.
Because Rashi says the lashon of Rashi is mechur hadavar. It's disgusting because people are talking about it. Therefore, it's disgusting, and she has to get divorced. Right?
This is WhatsApp.
Wait a minute. If I take out a full page in the paper and I say this guy is a bum because he was mezana with his wife, and everybody's talking. So then automatically they have to get divorced?
Yes, what it's saying, yeah.
Was there a kinoi? Here there was a kinoi. You have a problem here. There was a potential steer with no chance of steer, of ashka. What are you supposed to do?
Was there any Eidim here?
That's the problem. If there were Eidim, she would drink.
Was there an Eid Echad?
No, but there was kinoi. That there was.
So good, there was kinoi. So they went into the hotel together. So I'm saying,
no, but there's this. Nobody knows for sure, Zev. But what we're saying is that it's mechur hadavar for them to stay married to each other. And we said way before, Rashi brings the Gemara on Daf Vav, where we said once it's so widespread the talk, the water won't even work. The water is not a raya. That's what the Gemara says on Daf Vav and Beis. The water, once the ladies are talking like that, the water is not going to work. The water only works when it's a suffix. We look at it that it's we don't know if it's not a vadai, but we look at it that it's disgusting for this couple to stay married. That's basically what he's saying. It's mechur adavar for them to stay married, whether it's true or not true, right? It's disgusting to stay together. Yeah. Anyways, I'm sure it makes a big ruckus in town. I'm sure. I am sure. But anyways, so Omar Eidach. Now we get into Eidach and then Bisurin and all those type of things. So Omar, not really Bisurin, but by Arias. Okay, but Omar Eidach Ani Risiya Shanitmes. 1:8 says, I saw her be mezana. Right? Loi Haisa Shaisa, then she doesn't drink. Right? Because so Rashi says an Eid Echad is Neman to make her lose the ksuba because Raglayim Ledavar. Right? And we'll learn it out from Psukim. But she doesn't get a ksuba, but she doesn't drink the water. Right? So meaning she's not chayiv karis, but with one person it's Raglayim Ledavar. If there's an Eid Echad, it's a Raglayim Ledavar enough that they get divorced. She doesn't get a ksuba, but she doesn't drink. Even an Eved and a Shivcha who are normally not believed, right? They're believed even to possible ksuba that she's not going to get her ksuba, but she doesn't drink either, right?
This is shanitmes. This isn't just a stereo. This is more than a
no. This is nitmes. This is what she actually was. They saw her actually being mazana. But again, this is only after kinui.
Yeah,
right?
after kinui
and maybe
stira.
even after stira too.
Right. The Rashi says after
it's not
stira.
like an Eid Echad shows up in Bezdin and says, this person was mazana. We're not listening to him. It has to be as part of the whole picture, right?
I mean, there's a picture here, and the Shegitz walks into Bezdin with a big Shegitz walks in. It says, "This guy was Seiser." So therefore, no.
He has a mitzvah deraisa to give edus. What are you talking about? He's an
a guy.
What, the Eved?
The Eved. No, so yeah.
He's not a guy. He's a half a yid.
What? No, he's a half a yid, but he's still a guy. I mean, it's Eved Kanani.
He's still mechuyev to go give edus if he has it.
Yeah, but the whole point,
is.
Right, but the whole point is we only believe them in this situation. We only believe them in this situation when there's already where there's smoke.
Because there's a cloud of.
Correct. Yeah, there was kinoi and there was stira, right? So now somebody comes. We have this kinoi and stira, and then a guy comes on and says, by the way, I don't know if it's, but I saw this lady being mazana with this guy. So we say, okay, that's enough. That's how much more proof do you need, right? So that's what. Chamoisa, not only that, but here we have Chamoisa, mother-in-law.
Depending on how politically connected are, a lot more proof. Okay.
Yeah. Chamoisa, then you have the mother-in-law, Ubas Chamoisa, and the mother-in-law's daughter, B'tzarasa, and the co-wife, the Yavimta, and her potential Yavimta, meaning a potential sister-in-law, Ubas Baila, and the husband's daughter, meaning those are the five, if you remember from Yavamis, these are the five that hate each other. These are considered women who hate each other. Therefore, right? It's a good thing my mother's away for Shabbos. So so they hate each other. It's even mutter to have yichud with them, meaning yichud with a mother-in-law and a daughter-in-law is mutter because they hate each other so much that they're not going to pull anything off. So here you would think a mother-in-law is not going to be believed that her daughter-in-law was messing around, right? You'd think they hate each other, so she's making it up. Right? No, they're also nemanos. But not to pass them from the ksuba. See them, they're not as believed. They're believed that they have to get divorced, but she still gets to keep her ksuba, but they don't drink. So they're believed enough to make sure that she doesn't drink. Right? And it's a big kasha. Yeah, I mean, that means we're believing these women halfway. Right? Meaning, if you believe, like the case with the Eved or the Eved, we believe in Eved, right? Or in a Shifcha. So there, okay, we're believing them all the way. She's not drinking, she's not getting her ksuba, and she has to get divorced. Here, we're saying on these five women, no. They believe that she has to get divorced, but she still gets her ksuba, and she doesn't drink. So we're only believing halfway. Right?
We're believing the whole way. But really,
not enough to make her lose a ksuba.
Right.
Yeah. So basically,
but why? The shot was why?
What's a shot? Right. So there's a Rebbe Kiva Eger on this, and others that say it's sort of like a really she should lose the ksuba, and it's sort of like a takana. I'm not exactly sure why there's a takana, right? Right. But they made a takana, and that in this case she can still keep her ksuba. Okay. Now the Gemara explains why is the Eid Echad Shahaya B'din, because you would have thought, right, if you wouldn't have Exeris HaKasav to tell you that an Eid Echad is believed, you would say Pashat that an Eid Echad is not believed. Shahaya B'din, you can have a Kavach Chayim. Ma'im Eidus Rishayna, the first Eidus, meaning by Stira, She'ein Oisar to Isser Oilam. That's not an Isser forever, right? She's only Asr until she takes the drink, right? Meaning there's Eidim that there was Stira. So now she has to drink the drink. If she passes the drink test, that's it. She becomes mutter, right? So there you need at least two eidim to say that she was alone with the guy. So eidos achrayna shaisarta Israelim. The eidos achrayna, meaning the eidos where she actually slept with the guy. That's an isser forever because she's not drinking, and they have to get divorced. Of course, it shouldn't work with less than two. Again, the kavachaymer is a very simple kavachaymer. If the Eidim for the stira, who are going to make this woman usher to her husband until she drinks, you need to have two Eidim, even though the drink can prove what these Eidim saw or disprove what these Eidim saw, right? I mean, it's not disproving what the Eidim saw. It's just saying that they were just alone, but they didn't sleep with each other. That the water is going to do. But still, you need two Eidim. So how can you say that a testimony that's going to make them get divorced forever should be less than two Eidim? Right? I mean, if the stira that's only going to make her usher temporarily needs two edim, so an edus that's going to make them usher forever, avada should need two. So tamalaymer ve'ed einba. It says that there is no edim there. Kol edus sheyeshba, which means any edus that there is there. Meaning, should we wait till on the base? Meaning aid, the Gemara is going to say on the base that aid means aidim here. Aid always means plural. So it says aid ainba. So What do you mean if you touch it regular aid ain't ba? So if there's no one aid, so how does anybody know about it? Elamai aid ain't ba means two aid, right? So there was no two aid, but there was one aid, right? So it's called aid sheshra. Any aid is admissible, right? So then the Gemara says, okay, if that's the case, then now you're saying that the second aidus, which is going to make them also forever, works with only one aid. So now I'll turn the tables and say that even the aidus for the stira should only be okay with one. The aidus achrayna shoysati isur oilam, that's going to make her also forever. It works with one aid. So aidus arishayna, the first aidus she'ena sati isur oilam, it's not going to make her isur for oilam again. Why? Because it'll just make her have to drink, and when the drink proves that she's potter, so then she goes back to her husband. Isn't a so the pasuk says, when you find by her an ervas davar, and later on it says with two edim yakum davar, just like over there by the regular edus, you need two because it says al pishnayim edim. So afkan pishnayim. So to here it needs to be two edim. Yeah. So that's why we know that we have xeris akasas to tell us for stira you need two edim. If there was already stira, and they want to say edus that somebody was actually promiscuous, then even eid echad is enough. Fine. Now the Gemara goes to a couple of more scenarios. Eid aimer nitmeis. One aid says that she was tameh, meaning she was mezana. Eid aimer loy nitmeis. And another aid says that she was not tameh. Isha aimeres nitmeis. Or if a woman says she's tameh, the isha who normally are apostle edus. And another woman says she's not tameh, she's going to drink it, right? Because they just cancel each other out. These weren't great edus in the first place, so they knock each other out. So therefore, it's as if it didn't exist, the edus, and she drinks the water. But echad aimer nitmeis. One says I saw her be mezana. Ushnayim aimer loy nitmeis, and two said she didn't become tameh. So now you have one aid who says it was mezana, and two aidim say not. Then she would drink, right? So Rashi says, what's a pshat? Why are you going with one aid over two? So Rashi says the pshat is that the second aidim don't say that she didn't. They're just saying that they were there, but they didn't see that they were actually mezana. Right? They're not saying that she wasn't mezana. They're just saying we didn't see her being mezana. Fine. If two said she was tameh, and one said she wasn't tameh, right? So then then we believe the two over the one, and she's not going to drink. She's going to have to get divorced without a ksuba. The shayla is what's the chiddush of that? That should be pretty pashut. Okay. So now the Gemara says, what is the makar for that one aid is believed? Because we said be'eid ein ba. The Gemara says there's another makar. Hi Talmud Leimer ki matzah ervas davar. Right? This that it says that we said from ki matzah ervas davar Talmud Leimer ba. Right? Why don't we sell? I'm sorry, Talmud Leimer ba. We learned it says ba. Right? That there was no edus about her. Right? Ba v'loy bekinui. There was ba. They believed about her being mazana, but not with kinui v'loy b'stira mibayile. Right, we should adjust. It should have said like that, right? Why do you need the Gzeira Shava? Just say that ba works for the actual kinoi, for the actual ma'isa, but not for anything else. So the Gemara says, "Hachanami kamer." Yes, that's true. That's exactly what it's saying. Tamalay ba. It says that they said edus about her ba, v'loy b'kinoi ba, v'loy b'stira, not with kinoi, not stira, but tuma ba'alma, v'loy kinoi, v'loy stira, and this that she was tamei, meaning with znus. Without kinoi, without stira, right? The loy mehem and eid echad, that an eid echad is not believed, like we said in the Mishnah. An eid echad is not believed if there's no kinoi, there's no stira, and somebody shows up in Bezdin and says, by the way, this person was mizana, they're not believed. Minalan, how do you know? Nemar kan davar, v'nemar la'alon davar. It says here davar, and it says before davar. Mala'alon b'shnei eidim. Afkan, just like in standard edus, you need two eidim. Afkan b'shnei eidim. So too here, you need two eidim, right? So basically that's what the Gemara means to say. that the ba will taka tell us that 1/8 works, and don't think that 1/8 is going to work in all scenarios. It's not. It only works when there's already where there's smoke, there's fire, right? Fine. Eid Aimer Nitme. So 1/8 says she's Tameh, right? And then 2 Eidim said that she's not Tameh. So we make her drink. So Taima, the Komachashle. The reason that we don't go with the first aid is because there was hakosha, meaning they said the other Eidim said the opposite. Haloi Komachashle. But no, I'm sorry, I'm going on the wrong case. The first case, 1/8 says Tameh and the other one says Loy Nitmes. Right? So then they're sicer each other, so they drink. So what it says, time at the Kamakashle. The reason is because they were sicer each other. Haloi Kamakashle. But if they wouldn't have been sicer each other, meaning they wouldn't have said the opposite thing, so Eid Echad Mehemen, then 1/8 is believed. How do you know that an Eid Echad is believed? Like we said in the Mishnah. Eid Einba, which we said means 2 Eidim. B'shnayim HaKasim Medaber, it's talking about 2. There were no 2 Eidim, but there was 1 Eid, right? Atam b'shnayim. Do you say that Eid means 2? Or does Eid mean 1? That an Eid Echad can't stand up against a man. That an Eid, a single Eid can't be believed. Any of the Eshehu Echad, don't I know is Eid Echad? What does it mean? Lo yakum Eid Echad. If Eid means 1, so then what are you saying? 1, 1? It's repetitive, right? Matam Aloymer Echad. So why is it saying Echad? Zeb Bona Av. It's a binyan Av, right? Which means like we build off the pasuk. Kol makom shenemar Eid means that anytime it says Eid, Harei Kan Shnayim. Meaning anytime it says the word Eid, it really means 2, unless the pasuk says Eid Echad. So then it makes sense, the pasuk. When it says Lo Yakum Eid Echad Be'ish, that means 1 witness, as opposed to if it would have just said Lo Yakum Eid Be'ish, then Eid would mean 2. So basically we know from this pasuk of Lo Yakum Eid Echad that Eid means 2 Eidim, and then when it says Echad, it means 1 Eid. The Torah says there were no 2 Eidim. There's only 1, and she wasn't forced then, and meaning it was voluntary, then Asurish, and then she is Asur. Right, so that's the Makor that an Eid Echad is believed. There's your pasuk Zev. The Kivan, so since yeah,
an two Eid Echads against each other. The person's wife says she went to the mikveh. He calls up the mikveh lady, said his wife was not in the mikveh.
In that particular case, I don't know, because we have a special pasuk for Sofra law that she's believed. So I don't know, Taka, if she's believed, and then somebody sicer her edus, I don't know if it has the same strength. Taka don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
It's a good
Should
question.
Be the same problem as this. It'll end up being 2 against 1. She's 2, and
that's really in the next Gemara. Once you believe in Eid Echad, you believe like 2. I hear what you're saying, Gershon. L'chayra, I would agree with Gershon. The key in the Midoraisa Eid Echad Mehemet, so the Gemara asks, since Midoraisa and Eid Echad is believed, Ida Chechi Matzi Makashle, how can they otherwise this? Yeah, l'chayra, you're right, Gershon. This is what the Gemara is saying. Rabban, I think this Gemara is really asking you a question. Given the Raisa Eid Echad Mehemet, since Midoraisa of 1 Eid is believed, Ida Chechi Matzi Makashle, how can you be Saisa? Anytime the Torah does believe in Eid Echad, which it does by a woman, that's considered 2. And 1 is never going to work against 2. So basically, when we accept, because of the pasuk that we just said, we accept Eidus, that if the lady had kinui and stira, right? So then the lady, we believe in Eid Echad, so that means we believe in like 2. So then, and they said she was mazana. So then how could one come along and be size of that? How could that be? Ella Amar Ula Tani Loy Haisa Shaisa. Do we have to change the Mishnah? You gotta love this one. Loy Haisa Shaisa. The Mishnah says Haisa Shaisa, and now we're saying because of this kasha, just put in the word Loy Haisa Shaisa. V'chein Amar Rabbi Yitzchak Loy Haisa Shaisa. And Rabbi Yitzchak also said the Mishnah says Loy Haisa Shaisa. My parents, that's almost like epuch, right? Just epuch. Just put in loy, right? Yeah, so that's the first easy teretz.
Essentially, is epuch.
It is essentially April. Correct. That's true. You're right. Right. That would be easy, right? But the Gemara goes on and has to have a different term. So Reb Chia Amar Haisa Shaisa. Reb Chia said, no. The Mishnah says Haisa Shaisa. Okay. Reb Chia Kasha the Ulas. But the Reb Chia says it says Haisa Shaisa. That's very nice. So when you have Ulas Kasha, which is if the Torah really believes her, so we believe her as two aid. We believe as two aidim. One aid shouldn't be able to come along and be markish. Oh, so like Kasha. Kamba Basachas. In our Mishnah, we're talking about where both witnesses came at the same time. One came one after the other, meaning if they came at the same time, so we never had an established edus, right? So Rashi says, what do you mean the same time? What did they both come and say? I mean, you could do that. You do notice that women will both talk to each other. They're both talking at the same time. I don't know how they hear each other, but that's what they do, right? So that's not what we're talking about here, because then that's not an edus. Or even we're talking about a stama eidach, or even if it's not a woman. So Elamai, what is it? Toich kedei dibur. One aid comes running into Bezdin. The kanoi. I saw them. And somebody's coming right after. I didn't see them, right? Or whatever. I was there too, and we didn't see, right? So there's saisa within toich kedei dibur, so therefore it doesn't work. But if it's bezeh achar, then you have a problem. Bezeh achar, then we're going to believe the first and then not the second. Right? What are you saying?
So the case I asked, which I understand what you and Gershon said. So if the mikveh, for whatever reason, the mikveh lady called this fellow up and said, your wife was not by the mikveh tonight because she knew they were having trouble, whatever,
right. Yeah.
For whatever reason she called him. And then his wife comes, an hour later, his wife says, oh, he said, yeah, I was at the mikveh, So you ready to aid, the mikveh lady was ready to aid them before the wife.
Second that she comes home, she says, yeah, I hear.
No, Aaron's case is worse. The Hakasha came before the Edis.
Right. You believing the next lady's also obviously believed. She's believed all the time.
Yeah, but she's believed as one, not as two. She's only believed as one.
Why?
Because there's no Vasafra. She's still one.
Okay.
Yeah, that's... I don't know. I hear. But anyway, so that's what the Gemara's teretz is. If they come within Toich Dibur of each other, so as we know from the end of Nazir, I think it was the end of Nazir, right? That Toich Dibur is as if it happened at the same time, right? But if one came after the other, then we're only going to believe, the first one and not the second one. Tanan. So the Gemara asks on Reb Chia, so if one says she was tummy, meaning she was mazana, and two say she was not, haisa shaisa, then she drinks. Hachad v'chad, mashma, that if it went 1-to-1, loy haisa shaisa, she wouldn't drink. Right, so to give to the Reb Chia, then that's a kasha on Reb Chia. So the Gemara says, Amar lach Reb Chia. Reb Chia said to you, v'letamech, ema seifa, but then what about the seifa? Shnayim ayim nitmeis. If two say she was mezana, and one says she wasn't mezana, she doesn't drink. But if it would have been 1-and-1, so we have a stira, right? So meaning the Reisha and the Sefer are the diyukim, and the Reisha and the Sefer are saiser each other, right? It's a stira. All of them are talking about where we're not talking. See, that's why I keep saying it was a woman. Until now, the Gemara meant that it was a man or somebody who's kosher la'edus, and not he was a man who wasn't a gambler or whatever it is. Right now, we're saying the edim that we're talking about here are pasul la'edus, right? So meaning, and even the two witnesses that come are really pasul la'edus, right? So that's why the one edus is knocked out by the two edus, right? So let's see why. But in Rechemia, we're going according to Rechemia. Tana Rechemia, Kol Makom Shemina Torah Eid Echad, Halach Achar Roiv Deis. Anytime the Torah believes in Eid Echad, we go after Roiv of the Deis, meaning Roiv of the testimonies that were there. And we make that two women were against one man is the same thing as two men against one man. Right, meaning basically what Reb Nechemia is saying is that normally by Eidos, when you have two Eidim that testify that somebody did something, and you have 100 Eidim that testify the opposite. We don't look at it like we go with the 100 Eidim over the 2, even though you think that that's what you should do. Right? 2 Eidim say the guy drank the whatever. He did something awesome. And 100 say he didn't. So you think, okay, 100 people would go with him. No, the 100 is the equivalent of 2. Right? But when we're talking about people that normally are not believed, then we don't look at it like that. And we go with, then we start calculating, okay, how many people on this side, how many people on that side? Meaning only in standard Eidos do we say that 100 pulls no more weight than 2. But when it's non-standard Eidos, which is this case, then we do say we go with, okay, let's see how many are here and how many are there. So again, we go with the majority of the testimony. And you could take 2 women that are against 1 man. It's like 2 men with 1 man. Right? So in the first case, if 1 aid says she was tameh, and 2 aidim say she wasn't, then she has to take the meisaita. Right? And then the opposite, then she's not going to. Fine. There are those that say, anytime an Eid Echad comes, he's kosher from the beginning. And 100 women are just looked at like 1 man. Right? Just like 1 by 1 Eidus. On Talmud Aleph now. Okay, so what are we talking about in our case? We're talking about where the first Eidus was a woman. Right? And then the first Eidus was a woman, and then came 2 Eidim who were also Pasal Eidus and was Saiser her Eidus. Right? Because we're still going to, because they're all Pasal Eidus, these people, so Mamela, we're going to take more account with the 2, and we're going to give it more value, I guess, than the first. So, V'tirza, the Reb Nechemia, this is how we're going to explain Reb Nechemia. Anytime the Torah believes in Eid Echad, halach achar roiv deis. We go with roiv of the testimony. And we do 2 women like one. 2 women is like 1 woman. The same way 2 men are going against 1 man, right? And the 2 go over the 1. So too here, we're going to say the 2 overpower the 1, and whatever the 2 say, that's what we're going to do. But if it's 2 women against 1 man, then we look at it, it's like a split decision, and therefore we're going to not do anything. Right? Okay, fine. So now they're going to ask one. Okay, this is a little bit confusing in case anybody's not. It's a lot confusing. Right? So why do we need 2 cases of psulei edus? Meaning you're saying the both last cases is 2 said she was matama, 1 said she wasn't, and the next case is 2 said she wasn't and 1 said she was. So l'chara they're the same cases. So why do you need 2 different cases? Meaning you at the end of the day you're going with the majority. You're going with the 2 over the 1. So why do you need 2 cases to say that? So the target is really mao the same kiyas lina basar roiv deis. When do we go with the majority of testimony lechumra? So of course we're only going to do that lechumra. Right? Like we love to do that. We're only going to go with something lechumra. We'll go with the majority of opinions. Ava lekula, but for kula that she shouldn't have to drink. Loyaz lina, we're not going to go with the majority opinions. Kamash malan. So therefore, it tells us that we go with the majority, whether it's lekula or whether it's lechumra. I hope that was semi-understandable. Hadran Allah misha kine l'chaim. I don't know. Put that one in a bottle and save it because I don't know if we're ever doing that again. I'm not so sure.
There's always chazara.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Anyways, I'm sorry that I started late. A good vach and a good year.
All right, Rachamim, now you can bring up your question, Rachamim.
You have permission now from the mashgiach.
Rachamim, in this daf, it's better to be seen or semi-seen than to be heard.
Yeah, that's why you're semi-seen.
Did you say insane or
semi-sane?
Rabbi Stein?
Yes, sir.
I think it was Rabbi Leibowitz who I heard this on a shir that the Ramah once was in a situation. He came to a town, or whatever it was, and the a man would go over to the husband and the day after and say, Mazel Tov, your wife was at the mikveh last night.
Oh, you're talking about the Ramah.
Yeah, Ramah. You heard of that case? Right. So I thought it was related to what
Say it over. Was.
What I remember was the Ramah was sort of aghast at what is going on. What's the break? Sneer said that a person going over the mikveh and shaking hands with a man saying, congratulations, your wife was at the mikveh last night. It's a big break in sneers. But what it turned out apparently was that there were women who were not going to the mikveh and lying and saying they had gone. And so this was like a double check that the man could find out that in fact the wife had gone to the mikveh. Is that something like that? Is that more or less?
Yes. That's why. That's because of that story. Because of that story is why the Ramah always says "Nagu with noying," meaning that's why the Ramah puts so much. What do you call it? How do you say it? Emphasis on minig. From that, that's what they say.
But of course, I mean, it's kind of late to saying that because that's the night after they would have been together, so it's a little confusing. But
that's true.
But it was a disincentive, I guess, for the women to lie.
You can hire somebody for a stella. You can stand outside the mikvah and tell everybody what's going on over there.
Well, that's what was going on in that town, right?
Yeah. All right, it's a wash.
Yeah, but very good. The question is that going to eliminate her ages?
We could give Danzig that job.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Well, it was being done for an important sorach. I mean, you're right. It's an ages question, but it was obviously for a need of the community at that time. They had to stop this plague of I know
the joke Barrett's are gonna say. Say it, Barrett.
Real leader, yes.
God, doctor, he got you on your own.
I missed the joke, which might be a good thing.
Nida, you said you need to know this.
Ah, very good, very good. Okay.
There you go.
Okay, l'chaim.
L'chaim. I have confidence, doctor, that your l'chaim is on grape juice.
Yeah, but it's 100% grape juice. It's not the concentrate one.
Is it organic?
Okay.
No, I don't like bugs.
Look at that. Look at the
bug.
Yeah, anyways, all right. Okay, good work, everybody. Sag gesund. Goodbye.